Hi guys, today is September 15th, and today begins the Feast of Trumpets with the sighting of the new moon. Israel is now 7 hours ahead of us, and it is now 1:21 my time, so it is 8:21 their time. The spotting of the new moon would, begin their new year. Also at the sounding of their trumpet, officially beginning the Feast of Trumpets. Saturday is a Sabbath, which is tomorrow. It is the true Sabbath because Sunday is the first day of the week. Okay, so I have a lot of ground to cover, and this is just going to blow your mind. I just got off of an hour and a half long conversation with a friend of mine I have not spoke to in over a year. And we used to do Bible studies all the time in live videos. Norma Rodriguez, I don't know if you guys remember her, but wowee, did she put all my studies into perspective, plus what the Holy Spirit showed her. I am telling you, we are leaving. My chest has been so tight, and I think it's because I'm so anxious and ready to just pop on out of here. Okay, so we know at the first day creation, Genesis 1:1, God said that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and was with void. And on the first day, God separated the light from the darkness. Well, the first day, I believe that Jesus was created, okay, because he is the light, Satan is the darkness, okay? And so from the creation of time, God said that he worked for 6 days and on the seventh he rested. Well, we are now in the 6,000th year, which is also considered the 6 days which is also the 6 years considering from the 2017 marker. Okay, so 2017, I'm just going to skip straight to this and then we will just work our way back and forth. The Revelation 12 sign. There appeared a sign in the heaven, okay? A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Okay, you have to remember that these is considered an idiom, okay? God speaking in parables, he's telling us these events as time markers, right? Everybody thought 2017, the rapture was going to happen. But, here we go. Then, being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. Okay. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great fiery red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 diadems on his head. His tail drew a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to give birth to devour her child as soon as it was born. Okay, these are several different events that are occurring. First, in 2017, we have the first part where we saw the Revelation 12 constellation. Okay, but that only gave us, okay, in the Bible where it says that 70 years is a term upon my people to, but if by strength, 80. Okay, 1948 to 2018 was 70 years. Abraham was 75 when he went into the promised land. Okay, that leaves us to 2023 right now. Okay, if you adding additional 5 to that, that's 2028, okay, which would fulfill the 80-year fulfillment, okay, since 1948, since the establishment, and God said that, okay, and it says that the tribulation of those days is cut short, remember? Okay, so, I believe Jesus was born, and then the resurrection was a type and shadow as well. Okay, when Jesus died on the cross and he was resurrected from the grave, okay, there was a massive event. Okay, people passed out, they were blinded. Okay, the people come out of their graves and they started walking. Okay, now when Jesus comes back to get us, okay, it's a worldwide event. This wasn't just going to be something small. This is freaking enormous. Okay, it's going to cause, because God is so powerful when he comes back, it's going to knock the power grid completely out. It's going to take them from the timing of the rapture to the Great Tribulation beginning. The timing so Antichrist can reveal himself is going to be 7 years and 6 months. Completed. Okay. From the time that Obama came into office, 2009 to 2023 is 14 years. Rachel and Leah. Remember, 7 years of work and then 7 more years and you get to marry her or have her. That's a total of 14 years. 2019 or 2009 to 2023 is 14 years. Okay. And so I believe in 2017 was when Jesus was officially born in the first half of this Revelation 12 sign. Okay, he was the firstborn and he was to rule the world. Okay, rule with a rod of iron. She bore a male child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron. That's what she did. She bore. And then her child was caught up to God and his throne. That is us. 6 years later, just like the 6,000th year, just like the 6-day creation, so on and so forth. The 7th day, he rested. The 6th day ends the last day of the week because the 7th begins it, okay? The Sabbath. Saturday, just like when Jesus died, he didn't resurrect on a Sunday. You know why? He didn't, because he died on a Thursday and rose on a Saturday, but Mary and them didn't see him until the first day of the week because it was night out. They couldn't go out and see, so they had to wait until daylight. Okay? But Jesus was already resurrected. His body was already gone on that 3rd day. Okay. And so he waited those 3 days around. Why? So he could become the first fruits. That is us. And then at the Feast of Trumpets, you have to remember at the blowing of their horn, whatever, at the signifying of the new moon, that is the only one and only scripture. Where's it at? Where's it at? Hold on. Right here. Hold on, I'm so sorry. Okay, Proverbs 7:19 through 20, the translation. Okay, I'm going to read you that. Proverbs. I have all these marked, so it's going to should be easier for me to be able to just get this information out. Proverbs 7. Okay. 19 and 20. Is that 7? No, this is 6. I apologize. 7. Here we go. It says, "For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him and will come home on the appointed day." Or, in many translations, and he will come home on the new moon. There's only one festival that begins at the new moon, and that is the Feast of Trumpets. That is an appointed time. With her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Okay, and we know that's going to be Israel. That's going to be that. Okay, but anyways, Proverbs 5, 3 through 4. And it says, "For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil." Okay, but in the end, she is bitter as wormwood. Okay, sharp as a two-edged sword. Wow. Now tell me that this prophetic events and things with the comet child and Nishimura and all of that's up in the sky, that right there is also an asteroid that represents wormwood. Okay, and we know that Israel is going to get deceived. Okay, and the flattery, they're going to be enticed by that. Okay, and so, let's see. The 2 Samuel 2:11. I'm going to read you this. So now we're really getting digging into this. 2 Samuel, 2:11. It says, right here, "And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months." Okay, so Jesus, we know that David represents Jesus, or the lineage of Jesus. It is the type and shadow with Israel. Okay, but what about this additional 6 months? Because the 6 months is going to be, once he is taken out of the way, us taken out of the way, there has to be some type of period in order for the transition of the tribulation period or whatever to happen. And in order for the mass chaos to happen, we can't be here, because that in Revelation 3:10 says that I shall keep you from the hour of trial that shall come upon the whole entire world to test them. Okay. The only event that's going to happen is the signing of this peace deal. And you have to understand that this was enacted in 2015. So this signing is a continuation. It's just adding onto it of the Confederate and Daniel 9:27, where he confirms the covenant with many, which is exactly what's going to happen on the 18th and 19th. Okay. And then it is, okay, so 2 Samuel, okay, and then 5:5. 2 Samuel 5:5. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem, he reigned 33 years over all of Israel and Judah. Okay, and we know that Jesus was about 33 when he died, 32, 33 when he died for his ministry. And one thing that Norma brought up, which makes perfect sense, is Adam, he believes, would have been around the same age. And that's why Jesus waited until that age to bring about the judgment of the world. Did I already read Proverbs 5:3-4? No, I did not. And it said, therefore, all the elders of Israel came to the king of Hebron, and King David made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord. And they anointed David king over Israel. You have to understand, Israel doesn't want Jesus. Okay, this is a type and shadow of what's going to happen. The Antichrist signs the deal with many, but he can't reveal himself until after that signing. Okay, and I believe that is going to happen around Passover timing of next year, around the eclipse. Okay, and then it said David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. So that is a type and shadow of the 70 years, which leads us to what? 2017 or 2018, okay, which is when the establishment that Israel became the nation. Now they're trying to divide it, okay? And now that they're trying to divide it, what's going to happen? Judgment's going to come upon the whole entire world because of it. You touch the apple of my eye, boom, bang, bop, okay? And then, so the resurrection left a huge impact, and it will bring about nuclear power plants that will go out. And this makes perfect sense because all of them are around the ring of fire, and it will go off after some period of time without electricity. Okay. And it will implode on itself, and it's going to take approximately 6 months for this world to clean itself up, which is perfect timing. And it's so fitting in the scriptures. And then in Luke 13, 6-9. We're going to read that. Luke 13, 6-9. And he also spoke this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. Then he said to the keeper of his vineyard, look, for 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it use up the ground? But he answered and said to him, sir, let it alone this year also until I dig it and fertilize it. And if it bears fruit, well, but if not, after that you can cut it down. Didn't it say after 70 years that it is going to be cut off? The Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. Okay. And 2018, the additional 3 years that this is talking about would lead us to 2021 when the great pandemic happened. Judgment came across the earth, and it has not stopped since. Now we are into the 75th year, okay, just like Abraham, okay, who was led into the promised land, all right, and David is tied into Yeshua. So Esther 1, find that. Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs. All right. I thought I marked this. Apparently I did not. So, Esther 1, 3-4 says that in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast for all his officials and servants and the powers of Persia and Media, the nobles and the princes of the provinces being before him. Okay, this is the only feast timing, whatever, that they are doing to do this type of signing, which is this peace agreement for this 7 years to officially fulfill the Agenda 2030. Okay, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the splendor of his excellent majesty for many days, 180 days in all. And when these days were completed, the king made a feast lasting 7 days for all the people who were present in Shushan, the citadel, from great to small, in the court of the garden of the king's palace. This is talking about the 7 years. This is officially the peace agreement where he is going to step up. Okay, and I believe that this is when the 3rd temple is going to be built and he's going to reveal himself. The Antichrist is not going to reveal himself at the signing. Okay, he signs it, and then there has to be some sort of a time period, which it states all over. I just showed you 3 different scriptures of the 7 years and 6 months, 180 days. Same type and shadow. So now let's see. All right. And remember when God says in Thessalonians, which I read this a lot, but I want you guys to process the talking or the understanding of where this is coming from. Oops. I should know this by now. Okay. Oh, I did have it marked. Okay. So this is First Thessalonians 5:3 on. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. Okay, this is talking about the leaders. This is talking about Israel. This is talking about those who are blinded. But see, and this is the thing, when God speaks, he is going to speak in parables, and he does not do anything without revealing to his servants first. So therefore it says, but you brethren, which is talking to us, are not in darkness, and we are not, because we are children of the light, so that this day should overtake you as a thief. Okay, you are all sons of light and sons of the day. We are not of the night nor darkness. Okay, so therefore we are with God. Okay, and God is going to reveal to us the day, the hour, the minute. He is going to, because Abraham knew right before he was supposed to sacrifice his son Isaac. He also, Lot knew right before the destruction. Noah was in the ark 7 days before the rains came. Okay, we also have Enoch, who is taken up, and then we have Elijah, who is taken up in a chariot of fire. And he knew, because he had to appoint Elisha to take his place. But instead, the people appointed their king, which is exactly the type and shadow of what is about to happen. Okay? Israel wants a king, a physical leader. They don't want God. They are rejecting him. Okay? And then you have to remember, by strength of 80, 1948 plus the 80 years, okay, would be the 2017, but the tribulation period would begin, okay, if this is the 6th year of Jesus being born and us being part of the first fruits, that would mean that the rapture, wake me up when September ends. This is going to be a September to remember. And you have to understand that this would begin Tishri. Okay, a whole new month. And this also starts to begin their winter season in Israel. Pray not your flight be in winter or on a Sabbath, and Saturday is the Sabbath. And it's the quote unquote last day of the Feast of Trumpets. And they have 2 offerings, a morning offering and an evening offering. But I believe we are the evening offering, because he says that he shall come like a thief in the night if you are not watching and waiting. Okay. And I believe the prophetic events that we are going to see in the sky is we are going to be watching the fallen angels coming down out of the sky. Meteors are just going to come down, or comets or whatever. And at that same timing, we have to leave because we cannot meet in the middle when that war is going on, because we are spared from all of it. All right. And so if you've noticed that Abraham has, oh, I told you wrong date. I apologize, guys. Okay, so Abraham was 75 going into the promised land. 1948 plus 75 years is 2023. If they spot the moon, it will blast the first trumpet. Okay, so that's what I was trying to say. 75 plus the 80 years would be 2028. Okay. All right, so God separated us from people because God is jealous. Okay, he took out a bunch of people. So you have to remember, like, Michael died June 14th. 3 months ago, yesterday, 3 months. Okay. Michael, like the archangel, and I believe that this was a type and shadow. So God removed him away from her, and God took me away from her so that I could focus on him, even though it was a hurtful process. But Michael, the archangel, okay, and he's in heaven right now. So there's a lot that's prophetically speaking about these events. And the 14th, and you saw that I put on my community page about the dream that I had of Leo the lion and the number 14. 14 has been very significant, especially with Nishimura. Okay, so Song of Solomon 6, 12 through 13. We're going to read that. But first, I'm going to read verse 4 or 3. Because of the fragrance of your good ointments, your name is ointment poured forth. Therefore, the virgins love you. Draw me away. The daughters of Jerusalem, we will run after you. The king has brought me into his chambers. That's a type and shadow of the rapture. Whoop, whoop. Okay, Song of Solomon 6. Let's see. 12 to 13. Before I was even aware, my soul had made me as the chariots of my noble people. Elijah was taken up in a chariot of fire. Return, return, O Shulamite, return, that we may look upon you. But what happens is, in verse, continue, what would you see in the Shulamite? As it were the dance of the two camps. They have two feasts, or they crown another man king, but it's not God. Okay? This is talking about the Israelites, and that's when they're going to cry, return to me, and he's not going to be found because they're going to have to go through this judgment time. And then, so Samuel, verse 5. Second Samuel 5:4. Okay, so I did read that. So 70 years plus 1948 is 2018. 2017, you had to have all the numbers for the combination. Okay, when you have a lock, you cannot open it without having all the digits. So what happened at 2017 is we only had a piece of the puzzle. We didn't have all the numbers together. But now with all the signs and the sun, the moon, and the stars and the perplexities, what's happening is God said that that the Jews seek after a sign, right? But the Gentiles, that we don't seek after that. We seek after faith. Okay, so that's us. So God is pouring these signs out to wake up his people, but they're still not seeing it. So God says, okay, I'm going to do diverse places of earthquakes and famines and pestilence and plagues, and there's going to be persecutions on the rise, and nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. But then he says that I'm going to show you signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Because you have to remember that that is what starts our calendars as well. So, there has been several events that have been leading to now. So now that we have all the puzzle pieces, And the Feast of Trumpets is called the No One Knows the Day or the Hour, because they don't know what time that their beloved is going to come home, their husband. So I believe with all of my heart, this is it. And I've never been so sure of something in my life. And I am not going to say, thus saith the Lord. I want to, but I can't. That's a just in case measures. But I do believe we are here and Jesus is about to return. It's going to be on a Sabbath appointed time. And it's also the Jubilee year. So, I mean, I don't know what else God is going to pour out to open up, because remember, Daniel was supposed to close the books of God's word until the appointed time. We're here. This is the appointed time. And I always knew that God is going to show us when he's returning. He just wrote his book. He opened it up. He took the blinders off of our eyes, guys. And remember that we can't just look at the 70 years. We have to look prophetically at the 80 years as well. So, and there has to be some time period for all these events, for the New World Order to come into play, for the EMP to come, for people to be crying out, trying to figure out there's got to be an alien invasion. There's got to be something. And then there has to be order out of chaos. That's why I said it cannot be one event, one day, boom, next day. It's impossible. There has to be a time period. And that is why God said everything is appointed for a time. So, guys, we are here. I truly, truly, truly believe this is it. There is nothing else that needs to happen. Everything is aligned. I'm about to be seeing all you brothers and sisters in the air, and I'm so daggone excited. God bless. See you there in the air.